When dealing with track lighting systems that utilize a shared neutral, understanding the neutral current and dimmer compatibility is crucial. In a 3-wire track lighting system with 2 circuits sharing a neutral, the neutral conductor carries the return current from both circuits. To calculate the neutral current, you need to consider the load on each circuit. With 5 250 watt lamps on each circuit, the total wattage per circuit is 5 times 250 watts, which equals 1250 watts. If all 10 lamps are operating at full output, the neutral current is calculated by summing the current from each circuit. To find the current in each circuit, divide the wattage by the voltage. Assuming a standard 120 volt circuit, the current per circuit is 1250 watts divided by 120 volts, which equals approximately 10.42 amps. Since the lamps are shared on a single neutral, the total current will be 2.5 amps. If all 10 lamps are running at full output, the neutral current will be 10 times 0.250 amps, equaling 2.5 amps. In practice, the neutral current may be lower if the lamps are dimmed. The provided 1500 watt dimmer should be adequate for controlling the 5 250 watt lamps per circuit, as the total load per dimmer is 1250 watts, which is within the dimmer's capacity. However, it is essential to verify that the dimmers are compatible with the specific type of track lighting being used. Some dimmers are designed for incandescent lamps, while others are designed for LED lamps. Using an incompatible dimmer can cause flickering, buzzing, or premature lamp failure. For optimal performance and safety, consulting the manufacturer of both the track lighting and the dimmers is highly recommended. They can provide specific guidance on wiring configurations, dimmer compatibility, and any potential issues related to sharing a neutral in this application. Ensure that the wiring complies with all applicable electrical codes and regulations, such as those outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Proper grounding and bonding are also essential for safety. The NEC addresses these requirements in sections like 250.4, which covers grounding and bonding requirements, and 410.8, which covers track lighting installations. When installing track lighting with dimmers, consider the following points. Firstly, calculate the total load on each circuit to ensure that the dimmer is adequately sized. Secondly, verify the dimmer's compatibility with the type of lamps used in the track lighting system. Thirdly, check the track lighting manufacturer's recommendations for dimmer compatibility and wiring configurations. Fourthly, ensure that the wiring complies with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Fifthly, use appropriately sized conductors for the circuit considering the ampacity requirements specified in NEC Table 310.16. Sixthly, properly ground and bond the track lighting system to minimize the risk of electrical shock. Seventhly, consult with a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or concerns about the installation. Eighthly, label the circuit breaker panel to clearly indicate the circuit serving the track lighting. Ninthly, consider using a multi-wire branch circuit to supply the track lighting, which can reduce voltage drop and improve efficiency. Tenthly, inspect the installation regularly to ensure that all connections are tight and that the equipment is functioning properly. In addition to these points, there are several other technical aspects to consider when working with track lighting and dimmers. One important consideration is the type of dimmer being used. There are several different types of dimmers available, including incandescent dimmers, LED dimmers, and electronic low voltage or ELV dimmers. Each type of dimmer is designed to work with a specific type of lamp. Using the wrong type of dimmer can cause problems such as flickering, buzzing, and premature lamp failure. Another important consideration is the wiring of the track lighting system. When using a shared neutral, it is important to ensure that the neutral conductor is properly sized to handle the total current from both circuits. If the neutral conductor is undersized, it can overheat and cause a fire hazard. The NEC specifies the minimum size of conductors that must be used for different circuit ampacities. For example, NEC Table 310.16 specifies the ampacity of copper conductors based on their size and insulation type. In addition to the size of the conductors, it is also important to consider the voltage drop in the circuit. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs as electricity flows through a conductor. Excessive voltage drop can cause problems such as dim lighting and reduced equipment performance. The NEC provides guidelines for minimizing voltage drop in branch circuits. Another technical aspect to consider is the use of surge protection devices. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are designed to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges. Voltage surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, and other events. SPD can help to prevent damage to track lighting systems and other electrical equipment. The NEC requires the use of SPD in certain applications, such as in critical care areas of healthcare facilities. When working with track lighting and dimmers, it is also important to be aware of the potential for harmonic currents. Harmonic currents are currents that are generated by nonlinear loads, such as dimmers and electronic ballasts. Harmonic currents can cause problems such as overheating of transformers and neutral conductors. The NEC provides guidelines for mitigating harmonic currents in electrical systems. Another consideration is the use of energy-efficient lighting. Energy-efficient lamps, such as LED lamps, can significantly reduce energy consumption and save money on electricity bills. However, it is important to ensure that the dimmers being used are compatible with the energy-efficient lamps. Some dimmers are not designed to work with LED lamps and can cause problems such as flickering and buzzing. In addition to the technical aspects mentioned above, it is also important to consider safety when working with track lighting and dimmers. Always disconnect the power to the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. When installing track lighting, it is important to properly support the track to prevent it from falling. The track should be securely fastened to the ceiling or wall using appropriate hardware. The track should also be level and straight to ensure that the lamps are properly aligned. When wiring the track lighting system, it is important to use properly sized conductors and connectors. The conductors should be rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. The connectors should be properly tightened to ensure a good electrical connection. When installing dimmers, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The dimmer should be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. The dimmer should also be compatible with the type of lamps being used. After the track lighting system and dimmers are installed, it is important to test the system to ensure that it is working properly. Check that the lamps are dimming smoothly and that there are no signs of flickering or buzzing. Also, check that all connections are tight and that there are no exposed wires. Regular maintenance is also important for track lighting systems and dimmers. Clean the lamps and track regularly to remove dust and dirt. Inspect the wiring and connections periodically to ensure that they are tight and in good condition. Replace any damaged or worn parts. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your track lighting system and dimmers are installed and maintained properly. This will help to ensure safety, efficiency, and long-term performance. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about the installation or maintenance of your track lighting system. They can provide expert advice and ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Also, keep in mind that electrical codes and regulations vary from location to location. It is important to be familiar with the codes and regulations in your area before starting any electrical work. Contact your local building department or a qualified electrician for more information.